New York. 1.
For more than 11,000 years, American Indians have lived in what we now call the United States. They live all over the country and also in Canada. Some of them live in New York, which is one of the greatest cities in the world today. In 1524, Giovanni da Verrazzano, who was an Italian explorer, came to the eastern coast of America. He was hired by France to explore the land. He arrived at New York Bay. Later, the English explorer Henry Hudson came to the area. He thought it was very beautiful. The Hudson River is named after him. By 1625, many Dutch people were living in this area of America. They called their new home New Amsterdam, and more people came to live in this beautiful colony. But the British took control of the colony and changed its name to New York in honor of the Duke of York. New York was a British colony for more than a century. After a war between Britain and some of the people living in the colony, America became an independent country. New York was a busy port of 33,000 people by the time George Washington became the first president of the United States in 1789. Today, more than 8 million people live in New York City. It is the biggest city in the United States. The city is made up of 5 main areas. These areas are Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, Staten Island, and Manhattan. They all have a lot of history and interesting things to see. But most tourists spend their time on the island of Manhattan. It is the heart of New York. People often call New York City the Big Apple. It is not clear why the city became known as the Big Apple. New York is a city where many immigrants live. There are people from Asia, Europe, Africa, Central and South America, and the Middle East. People who live in New York are called New Yorkers. New York is also a center for finance, politics, and culture. Many tourists visit the city to enjoy musicals on Broadway or to go to concerts. A famous street for shopping is Fifth Avenue, and there are many famous art galleries and museums. The Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Museum of Modern Art are 2 popular places to visit. Many business people work on Wall Street, which is in the financial area of the city. In this part of New York, you can find many banks and international companies. There are also many foreign government offices in the city. The United Nations has its headquarters in New York. Walking the streets of Manhattan, you find a lot of interesting things. Manhattan is the main area of New York. There are many huge buildings to see. These enormous buildings are called skyscrapers because they look as if they are scraping the sky. One of the most famous skyscrapers is the Empire State Building. It is 381 meters high. This building was once the tallest skyscraper in the world. It took just over 1 year to build the Empire State Building. It opened in 1931. It was the architectural miracle of its day.